How can we empower women leaders to navigate the evolving digital workplace? I'm Veronica Dudo. Women's Biz Leader starts now. Welcome to Women's Biz Leaders, presented by Women's Biz Global, where each episode we dive into the world of female entrepreneurship and leadership, highlighting the journeys of remarkable women in business. I'll now hand it over to Annie Gibbins, founder and CEO of Women's Biz Global.
Welcome to the program. I'm Annie Gibbins, founder and CEO of Women's Biz Global. In this episode, we delve into the challenges and opportunities presented by hybrid work models. Today, we are joined by a seasoned C-suite leader and CEOforChange who is dedicated to guiding executives through the challenges of hybrid work models. Her name is Mary-Beth Hosking. Welcome to the program, Mary-Beth.
Thank you so much, Annie. I'm so excited to be here.
Wonderful to have you here, and I'm so excited to be sharing and learning from your expertise in this area. Hybrid work models, so many challenges, we're all coping with them. What do you see as the major challenges in this space?
What I find really interesting is we've just come out of 2 years of COVID. Thank goodness for that. I don't know how we did it, but we have. We've come out reasonably unscathed. But during that time, we had to and were forced to work in a fully remote situation. Now we're at that lovely point where we can actually have a little bit of flexibility. And I think it is around understanding what flexibility means to the individual. So at the moment, we sit there and we say hybrid working, but what does that really mean? Is a 4-1 or a 3-2 split okay? And for those on this watching this show right now, you're going, what's a 4-1? What's a 3-2 split? Basically, I want to work 4 days in the office, 1 day at home, or 3 days in, 2 days at home. What works for me? Do I want to work in a space where if I want to go and see little Jimmy doing his school concert during the day, I'm able to do that? That's really what we're talking about when we're talking about hybrid and flexibility. And for a lot of organizations, that's a really scary concept, because if I can't see you at your desk working, how do I know you're getting the job done? And I think that becomes the biggest challenge for leaders. And then there's also the monetary complications with that, having space in a work environment where I've got floor space that I have to have a fixed cost that I need to consider. If I don't have everybody in the office all the time, do I need that much space? And then if I don't need that much space, then what do I do? So there's plenty of challenges, but I think there's plenty that we can do in order to rise to those challenges.
And it looks different for every person and every business. So this is a very challenging space to be in. From the business's perspective, I agree. People used to be at work. I saw them doing their work. I have comfort and confidence in that. And usually there's a guaranteed bottom line if it's repeated. Now that we've got people in these new opportunities of flexibility, it's a scary space for employers. It also is challenging for employees, because it is wonderful to have that flexibility, but what does that look like? So how are businesses navigating that split, as you called it? People coming back, are they coming back 2 days a week, 3 days a week? Because we're still wanting to keep collaboration. We're still wanting to keep that team building. We're still wanting to have the synergies and the innovations that happen when people are together. What does that look like now for modern business?
It's very, very challenging for modern business. And I hate to say it, but I don't think we've quite nutted out fully remote yet. Because you can't have the water cooler conversations, can you? The interconnection is lost when somebody's fully remote. Yet, basically, I say to a lot of businesses, set objectives in place so that your employees know what they need to deliver. If it is very clear, then regardless whether they're in the office or not in the office, they'll still be able to deliver to those objectives. And that's how you measure your success. However, how do you ensure connectedness when somebody's working fully remotely? And that becomes very, very challenging. Now, through COVID, we learnt that you can have a lot of virtual calls, and that's what we wind up having. But I don't know if we have nuanced a fully virtual society where you don't get all of those facial expressions, all of the body language. We miss that. We still miss that. So therefore, it becomes a lot more challenging for those fully remote And as I said before, hybrid or flexibility, I think we need to create a culture in our organisations where flexibility is the norm. Then individuals don't feel bad if they want to go and see their child performing at a play during the course of the day, because I'm going to work in the morning and I'm going to work in the evening and I'm still going to deliver to my objectives. When we start to make it the norm and make it okay, then people will start to feel more inclined to embrace flexibility. And I think it's that embracing flexibility from a leadership perspective that we really have to nut out.
I love the way you said that, because that's right. The 9 to 5 work time has gone. I'm all into it. If you can go to your child's hat parade and then still be realizing, okay, I'm going to work for an extra 45 minutes at the end of the day or some other time, as long as the work is done. Now you're a leader.
And I don't feel guilty.
And I don't feel guilty.
It's that. And a lot of people say, well, mothers feel guilty. I think it's parental guilt. We sort of feel that even if you're a parent and you want to go and experience these things with your child, you're trying to find harmony. Harmony with your work, harmony with your extracurricular activities, harmony with family. And I don't want to feel guilty about that. I want to know that I'm in an environment where it's okay.
And sometimes it can even be that your body clock works differently. You're better working 10 till 6, for example, because you just take a while to wake up in the morning.
I'm a morning girl. Get me up in the morning. I am absolutely firing all 4 cylinders by 6 a.m. I'm great until midday, and then after midday, I'm tired then. And yet, if your body rhythms are different to that, in the evening may be the time where you absolutely shine. So working that out with your organisation, with your teams, with your leader, it's all about open communication and feeling you're in an organisation that embraces your difference, because we are all different.
Now, you're a leader in the tech industry, right? So a very male-dominated industry traditionally. How are you empowering young women to be moving into this industry while we've got so much change at the moment, and it's already, although it's come some way, it's still got a long way to go from a gender perspective?
It is quite underrepresented, isn't it?
It is.
What I like to say to those young women that are looking towards leadership going forward is to feel confident and to have a plan in place. I absolutely believe in a plan. So know what your goals are, know where you want to be. What does that look like for you? Go down even to roles, how much money you would like to earn, all of those sorts of things, but have a plan. And then start seeking out mentorship. And if you're very lucky, sponsorship. But know the difference between a mentor and a sponsor. The sponsor is going to be that person who's going to see something in you that you may not see in yourself, and they put you forward. Be open to opportunity. When a door opens, accept it. Have a go, because what's the worst thing that could happen? You might not like it, but at least you've given it a try, and you can say, yeah, I don't like this, or yes, this is great, and it moves you that next step closer to what your goals are. But don't be afraid to be ambitious. Don't be afraid to talk about what it is you want. It is absolutely a certainty that your male counterpart is doing exactly that. So you should be able to and should feel confident to have those conversations.
Exactly. Have those conversations and definitely just keep trying, keep at it. Resilience is one of the success principles,
it is.
Right? I'd love your take on technological change though. We have so much change in tech. How do you see this affecting the future for work environment for us all? It's a big looking glass question.
It is. Hang on, let me just grab out my crystal ball and do something here. Look, everyone's talking about AI. AI is in the zeitgeist, isn't it, at the moment? It's going to change the world. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I don't actually think that the Terminator's coming for us. I really don't think it's going to get that extreme. But hey, I could be wrong. But technology is really exciting. It's changing so rapidly. But with the technology comes the ability to remove some of the minutiae of your administrative type of tasks and functioning. So what that does give us is the ability to think and have thought leadership and start thinking innovatively. So if we stop and pause for a moment and let's look at AI, what can it give us? Automation. It can automate all of those things we don't really enjoy doing. And that gives us time to be thinking more innovatively about the things that are coming into the future, how we can add value, what do those things look like. I don't think we should shy away or be afraid of the technology, but embrace it and use it. It's a tool. It is there to help us. And if we do embrace it in a way that works well for us against our goals, remember the goals and the plan,
yes,
then I think it will actually help propel your career and not be something to be afraid of.
Beautifully said. I find it just frees me up for time that I can then be using for, change, innovative thinking, things like going to a meeting and then suddenly having that app create the meeting notes for you instead of typing them up. I mean, crazy things that we've wasted time on in the past. You've still got to look at it, but it frees you up if you start rolling out that scale of technology on being able to use that time in the best way possible. Are there any myths and misconceptions, I suppose, around hybrid work models that you think, considering all of this, we should actually be, saying them for what they are and moving on in a more positive work environment, moving ahead?
I think I said it before, it is that trust your employees, give them key indicators or performance indicators, OKRs, whatever you want to call them, give them clear objectives, set those, let the individuals that work with you understand and know what it is that they are needing to work on and deliver for you. Trust that they're going to do that. And if they go a little bit off task, just tap them back into, what it is that you're expecting of them. But if you do that, then you're going to get much greater output. In my previous workplace, I set clear objectives, and then I'd say to the individuals that worked with me, I think you should work from home 2 to 3 days a week because you'll be able to deliver this to me. And they were quite, really?
Wow.
This is actually pre-COVID, but I would often say, please work from home, you'll get more delivered, because most of the time, if you were really to look at how long somebody actually spends on working through a project or working through something in the office, it's less than 6 hours a day. You might get 4 hours of productive work out of somebody when they're in the office because they are having those really fruitful connection conversations, but they're not actually focusing on the work that needs to be done. Imagine how much more work would be done if you enabled somebody to actually work off-site for a couple of days, really focus on what's to be delivered, and then come back in and talk about what great work they've just done when they're having those connection spaces. So that to me is, but as leaders, it's about trust, and it's two-way.
Sure is.
It's two-way.
Thank you so much for sharing with us today. I could chat all day about this topic. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, our wonderful viewers. What a great place to be talking about this modern work environment. I tell you what, I'm learning things all the time. It is an issue of trust. Do we trust our staff? Do we trust ourselves? Are we actually better off working in a remote environment for much of the time? It's about using time for me, and I'm sure you've got some thoughts about that as well. Thanks for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you on our next episode.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.